stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Hey everyone. I hope everybody's having a good day. It's the afternoon. Man, I got too much stuff open on my computer. So, I want to come on and talk about power, control, all these things that us alcoholics and addicts just seem to hold on to. Hey, Jackie, good to see you again. Good morning, now good afternoon. Yeah. I'm just running into this some, and so I'm trying. What is it, man? Hey, Chris, good to see you, man. So back in my mid-20s, I created this game. I got into something called live action role play, right? LARPing, and we were the people that would run around. This was a while back. I'm not talking cosplay. It turned into cosplay, but so what we did is, I created a whole system for people to play different characters, blah, 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 right? And what you did is you assumed a character for a certain amount of time, and you were in garb, we had weapons and magic spells, blah, 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 right? A lot of fun, very addictive. Hence why I don't do it anymore. But I found something out when I was doing that. Because what would happen is we would go into game, right? And I would just be a regular person. Because most of these people that played it were geeks, nerds. Guess what, guys? I'm a geek. I'm not as smart as those nerds, though, man. Ugh. And so we would have a lot of people that we would consider, I don't even like calling them those names because just uncool. Actually, those are the people that made it okay for you to start dressing up and do cosplay. So you should probably have a little respect for them. But anyway, right. So in his regular life, this guy had been picked on, pushed around. Never the captain of a football team. He didn't get to pick people, right? So once we would get into game, maybe he was like a duke. And suddenly he would have control and power in the game. And they would fuck it up every time. Every time. Somebody would get mad. Somebody would get mad. Now, why is that? Hey, David, good to see you. Because they don't know how to handle it. Never been there before. Probably never even been to a leadership class, let alone a management class. If you want to be a leader, man, you got to go out and train yourself to be one. And so why do we alcoholics have such a hard time with this control issue and power? Is because when we have power or control, it gives us the same dopamine that our addiction did. Shit. Yep. So I pulled some things up. I do research. I don't just start yak. Well, sometimes I yak. Right. Here's one. Control freak. How to stop trying to change your world and change yourself instead. I'm just going to kind of skim through this, right? Everybody likes to feel in control of their lives. We do, sure. Now, remember when we first got in here, we admitted that our lives were out of control. That's it, Jackie. It's an adrenaline rush. But for those who are addicted, the desire to exert control over outer situations, relationship, family rules, schedules, and other daily interactions can sometimes become excessive. A person feels that they have lost control of themselves and their substance use. They often shift their sphere of control to other areas of their life. Feeling out of control increases anxiety and becomes a control freak. In one way, an addict may attempt to reduce his anxiety. Exerting outward control may also be an attempt to manage other uncontrollable emotions such as depression, low self-esteem, or feelings of powerfulness. So, or powerlessness. Right. So the way that I'm kind of looking at this is, so we get rid of the what we call the uh, drug of choice, DOC. I'm used to calling DOC something much different. Right? What's your DOC? Was never in the Department of Corrections. Um, then of course I forgot where I was going on that. Where was that then? Okay, brain biology versus behavior. Research suggests that people who abuse substances may be predisposed to do so because they have a certain brain abnormality that reduces their ability for impulse control. Notice we always talk about acting with life and not reacting to life, right? Because we are reactive people, and we are certainly reactive people when things like anger comes up, or somebody has stepped on your toes, or maybe they have crossed a boundary. Okay. That is your impulse control. Once addicted, areas of the brain involved in self control may be further affected by abnormal surges of dopamine flooding the brain's limbic system. Okay. So when you have somebody, right, and this is why I talk about the dangers of doing things too soon. Okay. Like, I'm glad that you have 27 months, but that's not something that we count here. All right. Social wellness. Welcome. Right now, this is usually a daily reflection. Today, I did a second one, and I talk about why we react the way that we do when we have power and control. And right now, we're talking about the dopamine flooding into our brain. So when that dopamine floods into our brain, um, it becomes confusing because we don't know how to handle it. We haven't been in that situation. So the dangers of becoming something before you are saying you're something before you become something can be dangerous. Okay. I'm going to use recovery coaching as an example. Okay. Um, I love recovery coaching. I do. I love being a recovery coach. Okay. I have a lot of resources. I love saying, hey, this person over here can help you, this person. Okay. But I always have to stay in that lane. See, a recovery coach isn't supposed to solve your problems. A recovery coach gives you the resources that you need, right? Hi, Melissa. So think on this a little bit. You get that right. Happens to me too. I'm not saying it doesn't. So what are you going to do? You take it for what it is. Because I also talk a lot about don't get too overly excited. Okay. Yesterday I was on the phone with a guy, Drew Hicks. Okay. I've been waiting to ask him to come on my show for a little bit. I had to wait a little bit. We had a great conversation. When I got phone, I was ecstatic. You know, it felt really nice to hear a guy tell me because I went to go qualify myself. He's like, no, don't worry about it, dude. I already looked into you. That was respect. Okay. So when I got phone, I had that rush. You know what I did with it? Nothing. Nothing. It is what it is. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And Melissa, I kind of knew, but I didn't know it was to this extent. So I'm glad I looked. I'm glad I did some research. So let's look at this a little bit more. Emotional regulation, learning to control yourself, not your world. Emotional regulation involves several different stages, any or all which can be the focus of a conscious intervention, resulting in the disruption of an automatically subconsciously generated emotional response. There's a lot of words in that one. So, essentially what it's saying is that we have it subconsciously, we are already doing this. And I talk about your synapses all the time. And we have to rewire that. Okay. So that when your reaction happens, okay, you're gonna find, you know, what's a good way to put it? I'll think of something. Anyway, so the stages go like this. You first direct your attention to the situation, okay, what's going on. Next, your brain is going to assess and appraise the situation. Okay. Is it scary? Is it annoying? Is it painful? Based on that assessment, you are quickly presented with an automatic emotional response, which precipitates a behavioral response. And all this happens in like milliseconds, guys. Happen that's why it's a reaction. The problem is that these emotional responses are often pre-programmed subconscious reactions. When I was like 8 or 9, um, back when I was a kid, our brakes were, you push back on your pedal and you had a brake. So if your chain fell off, you didn't have a brake, and we had this really big hill. And I kept thinking to myself, what am I going to do if my chain falls off and I'm on that hill? And I came up with the idea just to jump off the back, and that's automatically what I did when it happened. It was the wrong move. See, I had already predetermined and pre-programmed it. So we are already pre-programmed for this. So give yourself a little leeway, man. Okay. The 10th step the 10th step, what it does is it gives you the right to be wrong. Um, but by consciously changing a thought or attitude anywhere in the automatic response cycle, we can decide to see it from a more positive, helpful viewpoint, and therefore make a more positive behavioral choice. Below are some proven strategies: modify the situation, distract yourself, put it out of your mind, reappraise or reframe. So let's put this in our verbiage here, right? Modify the situation. Go to a meeting. Distract yourself. Call your sponsor. Help somebody else. Put it out of your mind. Let go, let God. Reappraise or reframe, fourth and fifth step. I mean, it's literally like that for us. Whew. All right, I do have a couple other things on here. I pulled up one, and the question is, what is an addiction to power called? Okay, now this is a little different because this is addiction to power, not an addict with power, but it still says the same thing, and you're probably not going to appreciate what it says. Addiction to power and wealth are often telltale signs of narcissistic personality disorder. I know. Guess what, guys? Did you ever stop to think for a minute that you may have some narcissistic tendencies or personalities? I did. I was always called a narcissist. Jackie says the last time I reacted without thinking ended up in jail. Talk about being pre-programmed, and your brain probably wanted you there too. You know, our minds can be so fucking powerful, man. Yeah, and you were 3 years clean. Yeah, yes, we don't need drugs and alcohol in our lives to be crazy. We don't. I don't. Not to brag, but I don't. Um, I pulled up another one. I didn't look at it too much, but it's Gabor. I like him. Let's see. Sorry. There was a part in here. I think I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay. I'm sorry, guys, but yeah, that's not gonna help us. Okay. All right. So what's that gonna come back down to then? How are we going to what's the solution, right? Well, we know that God is part of the solution, right? We know that. But The book tells us to seek outside help, is what it does. Okay. A real good way, I mean, what I'm finding anyway, Drop the Rock is real good if you want to take a look at these defects of character, because it's kind of what we're talking about is defects of character. I was talking a little bit about the dangers of time, and I was talking about recovery coaching. Recovery coaching in itself accepts all pathways, which in and of itself puts against what we need to do. But anyway, that's not the part I'm going over. Say I got a guy, right? 6 months sober, wants to be a recovery coach. Just got a sponsor, doing the work. Should he be a recovery coach? Should I get to decide that? No, I don't get to decide that. It's his money. He can do whatever he wants to with it. Okay. And good for him. But I tell you, what'll happen is you'll stop doing the work because you think you got it. And then that power and control comes back because you didn't do the 12th step. Yeah. Now, sure, you can go do that. But I tell you myself, I am probably not going to hire you. I prefer to people have 1 to 2 years of sobriety at least and have done the steps. So if you want to be a recovery coach for Trudging Together, I hope you're sponsoring people too, because if you don't sponsor and do your service work, I won't bring you on. You got to do the work first, or you're going to pour from an empty cup. And then I would be doing you a disservice and everybody else that you touched. Why? Because we're dealing with people's lives. This is life or death. And when it comes down to it, nobody has any power. Nobody has any control. In fact, that's what I'm working on with my business. So with Trudging Together, I've taken away the power from us. The recovery coaches at Trudging Together do not have power. Okay? So if you want a recovery coach, what I'd like to do is you'd be able to go on to our website, say, this is what I'm looking for, dealing with some depression, I'm on these meds. I've been diagnosed with PTSD. If you throw some EMDR in there, and you're going to pick through, and then I'll take it. It'll go find the right matches, bring it back in, and you can come back and choose between 3 or 4 different recovery coaches. All the power's gone. No control. Why? Because there doesn't need to be any. We stopped fighting everything and everyone. We stopped. Did we not? Did you stop? Oh, you didn't. You didn't. You're going to now, though. Jerry says, I see a lot of my defects, learning how to change and work on them as God decides. Yeah. And that can either be relieving or, yeah, Melissa, that's what I figured people were going to say, is for the most part, yeah. When we make those intentions to actually go out and find our character defects, God will let us know. Okay. And that could be exciting because, yeah, I'm a narcissist. Okay, I need to get rid of that, right? Because addiction looks a lot like narcissism. A lot like narcissism. So, all right, guys, I think that covers it. I learned some things, and my wife's calling, so I got to call her back. So, the background's going to change and stuff. I'm thinking about actually putting a couple of chairs and stuff down, making it feel more relaxed and stuff, instead of me being right up here in front of here and stuff. So, all right, guys, thanks for being here. We had Jackie, we had the social wellness, Melissa, Jerry, Chris. Did I miss anybody? If I did, I'm sorry. And then there's the Give Butter. If you can donate, that'd be great. Awesome. All right, guys, I will be back tomorrow for a daily reflection. Yeah. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. I love you. Peace out.